Welcome back to another episode of Solid Ground. Today's topic is going to be really interesting because I'm going to be talking about textual criticism and paleography. Initially, when I came across this topic, I was a little bit reserved, but after doing more research, I actually realized that this is an interesting field to read up on. Because this topic can be quite meticulous, I'm going to try my best to break it down to table conversation so that you can understand what I'm saying. Textual criticism is a method used to determine what the original manuscripts of ancient documents said by comparing and contrasting various manuscripts with each other. Sort of like a game of spot the difference. Because ancient documents were manually written down by hand, scribal errors, whether intentional or not, and spelling errors were always bound to happen. By applying textual criticism, scholars are able to reconstruct what the original reading of the text was. This method has been used on all ancient documents, especially the Bible and most recently the Qur'an. When it comes to ancient manuscripts, the more documents we have, the better. That way there's more ways to cross-check for accuracy and identify changes that may have been made. In the case of the New Testament, we have over 5,800 Greek manuscripts, over 10,000 Latin manuscripts, and about 5 to 10,000 manuscripts written in other languages. As you can see, we have a wide variety of manuscripts spread across the ancient world that we can study and compare. For example, in John 3:16, when comparing two different manuscripts, we see a spelling variant in the Greek character from the first word of the sentence. In Galatians 1:4, we see a Greek synonym variant. However, the meaning of the passage is still the same. Still don't get it? Let me give you a modern day example. If I were to send you an email saying you have won $20 million, whichever way you read it, you will still understand what the email was saying and you will proceed to collect your winnings. Similarly, the textual variants which are present in the New Testament do not affect any essential Christian doctrine. Now, moving on to paleography. Paleography is the study of ancient handwriting. Because ancient handwriting has evolved over time, by looking at the style of the written text, scholars can determine when in history something was written down. For example, as you can see how the Hebrew letter Aleph has evolved from the 15th century BC to today in the 20th century. Similarly with the Arabic script, the document on the left is from the 8th to 9th century, and the one on the right is from the 13th to 14th century. As you can see, the Arabic script is different as vowels have been added. While the paleography may give us an estimate of when something was written down, that only tells us half of the story. To know the other half of the story, we will need to perform a radiocarbon analysis, as that will tell us the age of the document. The Bible and the Qur'an were often written down on the skin of dead animals. Radiocarbon analysis provides us with the age of the skin, but it doesn't tell us when something was written down. Hence, by combining paleography and radiocarbon analysis, it gives us a more accurate picture to tell us when something was written down. What do I mean by this? For example, the recent discovery of the Quranic manuscript in Birmingham in London last year determined, based on radiocarbon analysis, that the Quranic manuscript was written between 568 AD to 645 AD, very close to the time of the Prophet Muhammad, and everyone got really excited, including myself. However, the radiocarbon analysis only shows us the age of the document. It is not indicative of when something was written down. It is possible that the document was kept for 20, 50, or even 100 years before it was used to write the Quran down. For us to really know for sure, we have to look at the paleography. However, that is not mentioned in any of the news sources. Hence, by combining again the paleography and the radiocarbon analysis, we can come to a more accurate conclusion of when something was written down. Now, just to be clear, I'm not discrediting the discovery. I think it's an amazing discovery, but we only know half the story, and we don't want to count our eggs before it hatches. For us to know a complete story, we will need to know the paleography. Now, such textual variants are not exclusive to the New Testament alone. Such variants are also found in the Qur'an. Now, majority of Muslims will claim that the Qur'an has been perfectly preserved. By perfect preservation, they would mean that such variants, spelling the word and dot, cannot exist in the Qur'an. As Indian Pakistani scholar Abul Maududi will say, the original text of most of the former divine books were lost altogether, and only their translations exist today. The Qur'an, on the other hand, exists exactly as it had been revealed to the Prophet. Not a word, nay, not a dot of it has been changed. It is available in its original text, and the Word of God has been preserved for all times to come. If you understand what textual criticism is, then you will know that such claims are not possible. In fact, two eminent Turkish Muslim scholars will agree with me on this. Dr. Taya Atikulek and Ekmeluddin Ihsanol performed a 15-year study on the two oldest Quranic codices, which many Muslims believe to be the original copies owned by Uthman, the Tashkent and the Topkapi manuscript. Based on spelling and scribal errors and the paleography found in the manuscripts, these two scholars conclude that these two codices are not the personal copies of Uthman, nor was it the copies that Uthman commissioned to be sent out across Arabia. Mind you, these are the conclusions coming from Muslim scholars. Here's a quick summary of some of their findings. Mistake of omission. In Surah Al-Imran 337, the word Inna Allah has been left out. In the same Surah 351, the word Hada has been left out. Spelling errors and no uniformity in the spelling suggest that the copies were neither scrutinized nor carefully checked by a competent reciter. The text was written in a developed Kufi script that does not conform to the writing style of the early Quran. Presence of dots and vowel signs are found in both manuscripts. Dots and vowels were only introduced at a later date, not at the time of Uthman. Now, these variants that appear in the Quran does not mean that the Quran has been corrupted. Why? Because we have other manuscripts available, hence scholars are able to determine what is actually being said. However, the claim that the Quran has not been changed, not a single spelling, a word or a dot, that claim is baseless based on the historic evidence of the manuscripts. Similarly, because of the thousands of manuscripts available to the Christian community, none of the variants found in the New Testament actually challenge or affect any essential Christian doctrine. If one were to say that the Bible has been corrupted because such variants are present, then to be consistent, one has to say that the Quran is corrupted as well because such variants are present just like the Bible. If we were to apply the same skepticism to the New Testament on other ancient works, then we would not know anything at all, and that includes the Quran. If we do that, we actually move back into the Dark Ages and we would have eclipsed all sorts of knowledge. The work of Christian skeptic Bart Ehrman has led the way for atheists and Muslims to challenge the corruption of the Bible. However, they have no idea what they are saying. Here's what Bart Ehrman has to say about the variants found in the New Testament. The position I argue for in misquoting Jesus does not actually stand at odds with Professor Metzger's position that essential Christian beliefs are not affected by textual variants in the manuscript tradition of the New Testament. Misquoting Jesus, page 252. That's right, you heard it from the man himself, Bart Ehrman. He says that the textual variants found in the New Testament does not affect essential Christian doctrine, meaning the core message of the Bible has been preserved. There is absolutely no evidence that the textual variants affect Christian doctrine, and that's a fact agreed upon by Bart Ehrman. Strangely, the mentor of Bart Ehrman, Professor Bruce Metzger, says this about the New Testament. After you take the 20,000 lines of the New Testament, it is safe for any scholar to say there's at least a 99.6% accuracy. No other ancient document, none, has the documentary support that the Bible has. Remember, before anyone gets offended, I'm merely sharing facts and research which I've done on my own, not my opinion. The reason why I present such information is for you to think about it, ask questions, and come to your own conclusions. I hope this video has given you something to think about. If you found this video useful, give me a thumbs up, share this with your friends because sharing is caring and knowledge is power. And always remember this, follow the evidence wherever it leads. I love you guys.